Hi guys, my name is Anne-Marie Ng, and this is my lifelong learning project PowerPoint for my BSN capstone course. First, I want to talk about what I learned being a learner throughout the BSN program. So, throughout my journey in the BSN program, I have now started to appreciate how important and critical it is for me to continue learning on an ongoing basis and even for the rest of my life. This need for learning also applies not only to my professional life as a nurse, but to all aspects of my life. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, lifelong learning is an active process in which the student searches for knowledge and understanding and uses it to meet his or her professional lifetime needs. I found that to be a really great summary of the definition of lifelong learning. I realized that learning is not only about acquiring and using hard facts. This type of learning was difficult for me at times to grasp since for so many years I had to learn the hard facts of nursing and treatments and diagnoses, but I have learned to acquire and use these facts in a broader operation. Also, the assignments of self-reflection at the end of many of the courses in the BSM program I found very difficult at times, but also important because they really helped solidify, the overall important lessons and themes of each course, which really boil down to the important takeaways of each BSN course. Next, I want to talk about what I learned as a self-directed learner. The BSN experience has exposed me to so many different things that deserve my attention in order for me to become a better nurse and a better person. A lot of the IHI tutorials on health literacy opened my eyes to the immense degree to which many of the patients we serve are handicapped by the lack of health literacy. I understand better the magnitude of the problem and that until the enormous health literacy gap can be reduced, it seems like a losing battle to get many segments of the population to understand public health messages such as the importance of immunizations, health prevention, i.e., losing weight, stop smoking, exercising, the moderation of alcohol, and drug addiction prevention, as well as the preventative healthcare aspects. Improving overall health literacy is a project for everyone because the negative consequences are widespread and affect all of society. Another aspect that I've learned from self-directed learning came from my ethics, my courses on ethics and social change. They helped make me aware that I'm not an island, but in fact I'm part of a larger society. And I've developed the need to recognize the need for change, not be willing to accept inequality, and step forward to make positive changes occur. Otherwise, they won't be done. Many social movements have been started by individuals or small groups who committed to acting on making changes. I plan to help follow through on that as a life learning goal. The final thing I learned as a self-directed learner, the book on emotional intelligence that I had to read was truly life-changing for me, and it started me on a process of self-reflection to start to develop these skills. How has my nursing practice changed from going through the BSN program? I've noticed my self-reflection, as I just stated before, the areas of self-reflection and self-improvement now guide my lifelong learning. They're two areas which are new to me. As I stated before, the book on emotional intelligence really helped get me started on that process to develop those skills. I know I will need that book to refer back to in its lessons, repeatedly throughout my career as a nurse. I have noticed that I have to start listening better because communication is a two-way street, and also because it is a really important aspect in as a nurse. You have to be able to communicate and listen at the same time when providing care for a patient. I have to stop and let patients tell me their concerns or ask questions rather than just giving them a deluge of information. Sometimes I'm afraid that if I stop my train of thought, I might forget something. I've learned to read body language better because people communicate in more than just verbal ways. I need to be better at learning reading cues of someone who is uncomfortable or uncertain or lost in a conversation so I can stop and refocus the discussion for a better outcome. I also have to learn to speak slowly and clearly, not loudly, because when I get nervous, probably as I am right now, I happen, and also this happens at my new job. As a new grad, I notice my speech gets faster and louder and probably more confusing than it is informative. And lastly, I need to start to recognize the need for change. As I stated before, not be willing to accept inequality and step forward to make positive changes if I want them to take place. Be accountable, basically. How I've grown. The BSN program has helped me in numerous ways. 5 ways here that I have listed. First, my attitude about developing lifelong learning skills has changed. I realized that I actually know very little and that I must continue to learn forever if I'm to have an impact as a nurse and as a member of society. The role of a student and teacher are truly lifelong and never ending, and in order to grow as a person, I must, and you must, we all must never be satisfied and must have the desire to be better and learn more in order to have the greatest impact possible as a nurse in our patients' lives and as a person in society. Second, I have been exposed to some of the many areas in healthcare where there are enormous deficiencies which need to be rectified. Excuse me. Social issues are ongoing, such as gender, ethnic, racial, financial inequalities. They all continue and threaten to widen unless everyone is willing to set up a way to make this change and make a difference. Health illiteracy, as I mentioned before, and information illiteracy are just 2 of such problems. These issues which affect everyone, and not acting on them is not acceptable for society and healthcare to move forward and be productive for all patients and nurses and everyone really involved in the healthcare system. As people, let alone as nurses, we cannot allow the status quo to stand the way it is. Thirdly, the evidence-based practice model must be used to elevate the quality of care we offer to our patients. As we all know, nursing is really built on evidence-based practice. We cannot allow habits and old systems to remain if other ways are studied and tested to be better. We need to continually question the status quo and keep it only if it is truly the best way. That also points to lifelong learning. Evidence-based practice is always continuing and growing with nursing. Like I just said, you can't have old habits. Things will change, and new discoveries will be made, and we have to make sure that we're up to date with the newest information and research. The only way to determine this is with evidence-based practice. I learned the best way to evaluate new information is to determine if it meets the criteria of evidence-based practice. Fourth, I've learned that I must grow as a person in order to succeed as a professional and as a person myself. Self-reflection and self-improvement are essential tools, as I stated before, which I must continue to practice in order to improve myself. There are some things which only I can do to help myself first. Reading about emotional intelligence, I'm astounded by how much I have grown from the beginning and how far I need to develop. But given the importance of self-improvement, I obviously have to continue on with that, and I am excited to do so. Because lastly, lifelong learning is one of the most important aspects of nursing, and I found for life itself. Lastly, my personal lifelong learning goals have to seek out evidence-based practice. You have to seek out research. The cumulative effect of the BSN program has taught me how to learn and why it is important to never stop learning. I want to focus on increasing my emotional intelligence. Goals of lifelong learning are many and have many directions, some of which I've been exposed to at Library. I have to, like I said, focus on increasing my emotional intelligence to develop my skills to perceive, assess, and manage the emotions of myself and others. I know that we all have the need to learn and lead and manage every day, and I must continue to develop my leadership and management skills, whether it's a specific job title or job description, whether it's tied to it or not. Have to continue to develop. That's my third point. Get involved in hot topic research questions, which also leads back to seeking out evidence-based practice. I think it's extremely important for nurses, to stay well informed about the science of nursing and the research, the changing of the nursing fields, evidence-based practice, so that we can provide the best practice of nursing to our patients. Lastly, make a difference. It's really why I got into nursing. I really want to make a difference, whether it's making someone smile for the day, or, having a family member come up to you and say, you know what, it's been amazing working with you. Just not just in my patient's life or day, like in the nursing field too. That's really where I've grown. I really want to make a difference in the nursing field. Do some research, expand my horizons, and really reach my full potential. I hope you guys enjoyed my PowerPoint. I've enjoyed the class, and thank you.